What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down what's going on with the overall market, how this may affect NIO, and why is NIO up over or almost 9% for today. What is going on with NIO to cause that? I'm also going to break down what's going on with the debt ceiling and the news that just came out. That's a very big bullish catalyst for NIO. Before I break anything down about all of this information, though, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, whether it's $1 or $100, it's up to you. You're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $3,000. And the best part is, and it could be a free NIO or Tesla share. What's awesome about this too is the market is up right now. So if you get those free stocks, they're going to be worth a lot more. The offer ends in just 9 days. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. NIO was up 8.92% for the day after this news came out that China is going to be holding its lending rates again, despite what's going on in the country. Now, that's good news because the benchmark lending rate in China is unchanged for the ninth month in May on Monday. So this is once again very, very good news for many companies like NIO. They're not raising like interest rates, if you want to use that term to describe this news. And that's a good news for many Chinese companies. This is why Alibaba, many Chinese EVs, even NIO continue to pump. And what else is good about this is this allowed for more and more lending practices to continue in the company without seeing, companies get hurt. This is not incentivizing more pain, it's actually incentivizing growth. And this in turn is going to help companies like NIO maintain higher levels of liquidity to continue to make investments and grow their business model. So good news for NIO, good news for the Chinese tickers, and this could even continue to help the stocks push. NIO is up almost 9%. It's a little bit red in the after hours, but it's holding up quite nicely. The whole market was squeezing today, but we did see SPY kind of pump and then dump over time, but it still managed to close kind of green. And overall, the market's holding up nicely. But now the question that arises is, what's going on with the debt ceiling? Is the debt ceiling going to just keep, the market pushing, or is the debt ceiling going to cause a rug pull? And right now, I'm still in the middle about the news. In fact, the news has been more bad than good as of recent. We're just seeing politicians fighting one another, not really making much progress. They even stated that no progress has been made. They're just playing politics. And the market, however, is just waiting for the debt ceiling to be raised. Uh, we could even see the market, excuse me, we could see the market even drop a little bit. Uh, but if they raise the debt ceiling like very soon, whether it's this week or not, or by next week, the market's going to explode. It's going to squeeze anyways. So things are changing, and the market does not care too much about all this dirty politics, even though some of the things are still concerning in my eyes. Like if you look at McCarthy, he was saying that Biden would rather be the first president in history to default on the debts. Not saying he's right or wrong. I'm just saying that this leads to more tensions. I could also add that McCarthy was just saying that we need more spending cuts. The president has to get serious. He's blaming the president for not being reasonable. Then Janet Yellen came out and she's saying that I'm writing to note that we estimate that it's highly likely that the Treasury will no longer be able to satisfy all the government's obligations if Congress has not acted to raise or suspend the debt limit by early June, and potentially as early as June 1st. So that's some serious news. She's saying that it's likely that they will no longer be able to satisfy the government's obligations. They're running out of money, they need to raise the debt limit, and so far it has not been done. So, like I said before, guys, very important that we look at stuff like this. Now, when it comes to NIO's price action, we're seeing this nice pump in the price price ratio. NIO has outperformed the market quite nicely, despite getting some equal rate ratings from many different banks and different companies. The major support is around 8.3 and also 8.5 around that area. And we have some resistance at 8.8. However, if we break 8.8, 9, and then if we break past $9, then like around that 9.5 area is where the next super strong resistance is going to be. NIO tends to be green about 55% of the time on Tuesdays, which tends to be a good day. And the short interest on NIO it went up a little bit. Now it's actually cooling off a bit. So NIO is starting to short squeeze. And NIO got about 73 million in volume, so very nice volume. What does all this mean for the share price? Right now, NIO's support is going to be closer to 8.5. NIO's resistance is at 8.8 and then also 9 and 9.56. What is more likely for NIO? Looking at the daily charts, it's looking quite nice, very, very strong on the 4-hour time frame, very strong daily candle. Might cool off a little bit in the morning, then try to make its way up to $9 if the market holds up. And I do believe it's looking quite strong and it could continue to push up as more people start to buy. There's no indication of NIO dropping yet. And as long as it continues to make higher highs and higher lows and maintains that trend, the odds are going to be heavily in the favor of the bulls. Now, as far as Tesla goes, Tesla has resistance at about 190, but the daily candle is very strong. We close very close to the high of day. So even if it cools off just a little bit in the excuse me, it cools off a little bit in the morning and then it just continues to pump. It's going to likely just try and make an attempt to do so, but please be careful because of the debt ceiling. I mean, it's very unpredictable because, you know, I typically don't trade in a market that's just so dictated by politics, at least to this degree. And the politicians are just getting more and more antsy. They're saying lots of negative things, so it could affect the market. So far, it hasn't affected it that much. And if anything, Tesla looks strong, so I'm anticipating it might cool off a little bit, then just try to continue pumping. Could cool off to about like 186 or so, maybe even a little bit lower if that fails. Uh, but it's going to likely bounce. Could just drop like $2 or so, then try to bounce and keep making its way up to 190. It's going to fight for it because we have some strong resistance there. If it breaks 190, it's going to make its way all the way up to at least 194. So that's going to be very bullish. As far as SPY goes, the major resistance is going to be around this 420 area. If we break it, then 425 to 426 is going to come. If we break it, hold 420, which we failed to do so far. However, don't forget, support is going to be around this 418.5, then 417 area. Then we have 415. Then after that's the 412.3 zone. For now, I'm anticipating that we have an indecision candle, so it is looking a little bit weaker. It might even cool off a little bit more to about the 416s, but it should bounce and hold these levels very nicely. I'm anticipating a very flat day tomorrow as long as it holds up, and the market's going to react to what happens during the next meeting for the debt ceiling. I'm anticipating it's going to hold up, maybe cool off just a little bit, but just stay very close to these levels. And it's waiting for the big announcement, because if they make the announcement soon, the market could rip even more. If they fail to do so and they end up getting to the deadline and we don't get a deal by the deadline date, it's going to be very bad. The market's going to see a reversal. Janet Yellen is warning about it, but we'll have to wait and see what happens until then. If we're bullish on the QQQ, watch 340 plus. If we get a deal, 345 is going to come. If we don't get the deal, if it takes forever, we're going to see a lot of downside. However, so far we're in the middle. The next very likely thing is going to be like 335, then 332, then 330 as supports. We're going to likely see the QQQ cool off a bit, then try to continue to hold these levels. I'm anticipating it's going to chop around a lot tomorrow, see lots of sideways action, but if we're going to close very flat. Finally, for NIO, the odds favor NIO continuing to pump to about the $9 area. It looks very, very strong so far, but we have to break and hold 8.8. So far, it's getting stopped around there. If it comes down, 8.5 is going to be major support, followed by the 8.2 zone. But I don't really think it's going to drop too hard. I think it's very likely it's going to cool off a bit and then try to make its way up to at least $9. If it breaks that, watch the 9.25 zone, then 9.56. So far, the odds are favoring the upside, very strong daily candle, and that's what I'm seeing for NIO. So I'm hoping for a bit of a cool off, then a nice push, and overall, the technicals are looking quite nice. I have some merch for you guys if you're interested in buying anything like a tank top, a hoodie, a t-shirt that says "To the Moon" or "Money is Calling." And also don't forget about the Webull link. The offer ends very soon. Deposit any amount of money and you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. Offer ends in just 9 days, and it could be a free Tesla share. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. NIO to the Moon as the long term is still incredibly bright, and peace out.